Well, you don't really, you don't plan a locker room talk for a loss because you don't think they're coming. So hate it for our team that we ended up short tonight. Hate it for Purdue Nation that we ended up on the short end. I'm so thankful for, through a 3-hour lightning delay, weather delay, all the different things. That speaks volumes about this fan base and how terrific the evening still was from that standpoint. Very thankful. And I know it was hard, whether they traveled from, hours and hours away or right down the street, for them to stay and still support this team. I'm very, very appreciative, and I know the team is as well. About the game, I think, you could feel it in the game. We were capturing momentum, and we just couldn't keep it on our side. And against a good team, when you turn it over 3 times and you don't get any back on the defensive side, this makes it really hard to win. And I think we'll look offensively, and we had a lot of success in a number of things that we thought we might have a chance going into it, and the guys executed. And this, again, we can't turn the ball over. We've got to be better on third downs, and then we got to protect the quarterback a little bit better than we did tonight. I thought there were opportunities in the run game at times that guys were able to point of attack, do a nice job blocking. Defensively, we early on, we got outcompeted a couple times for balls down the field. But then, I'm not going to question the willingness, the fight, and the resolve out of the guys on what they did. I thought they responded well. There were times we held them instead of a touchdown to field goals, which was huge. We couldn't get off the field on 4th down. They were 4 for 4, so that was a big part as well. And there are things that I feel like we're getting close to be a pretty darn good football team, and we got to continue to work. And I did tell the guys that this loss will not define us, but how we respond will. So we got to learn from the things we did well, things that we have to get fixed for us to play winning football, and then find a way to get back in the winner's circle. So I hate it. Losing is awful. And a lot of people poured into tonight to give us a chance to win, and we came up short, and I hate that. No, I can answer any questions.
Yeah, Barry, just how do you think the delay impacted this, your team coming out of the gate?
I thought, every single week, and we talked about it well before today, plan-wise, we have a plan that we're ready to activate, home or away, with extra meals, time built in, the philosophy of what we're going to do meeting-wise, no matter how long the delay is, whether it's 30 minutes or 3 hours or whatever it is. We've kind of got different plans, and I thought the people that executed that plan today, from nutrition to sports medicine to strength and conditioning, game day management on communication piece, I thought it was flawless. And we kept getting a time, and then we'd start to activate it, and then all of a sudden, another lightning strike, so we'd bump it back. And I thought, from a pretty good mature standpoint, I thought that our players handled it pretty well. There was a point in time that we brought in extra food. Katie Misick, our nutritionist, had that planned and ready to go. And once we said activate it, within 5 minutes it was here. And so that's great organization by all the people that it took to pull it off. I don't know how it affected our team. I thought they were ready to go play. I didn't sense, throughout the warm up and throughout the delay, I thought they handled that well. You playing a good team, and that you've got to step into the ring and into the arena and be ready for them to swing, and we got to swing and swing first. So we'll learn from today in a lot of different ways. One of those, as we critique the weekend, there'll be some things that we feel like we can do better in every concept. But overall, for the flow for our student athletes, I thought it was pretty healthy.
Just to talk about the fight of the team when you fell behind 30-10, I think after the 70-yard pick six. I mean, that seemed like could have been a real defining moment, but you answered with a touchdown. Just how you continue to battle back from that.
Well, I think, we get so many few opportunities to play the game. And for us, if we do anything other than give tremendous effort and play to win until that clock hits 0, then I have failed the organization. So We try to take the approach every week, nameless, faceless opponent, and we don't look at the scoreboard. We go play one play at a time. And if you can ever get that where, again, I've said it a couple times, if you just become numb to the process and what that is, then your habits throughout the week end up showing up on game day. So, I thought that our guys hung in there. We'd capture the momentum. We just couldn't keep it on our side. So we got to work to find ways to get that done.
We saw a lot of changes tonight defensively, whether that was some different personnel shifts, some going with the three-man front, which we hadn't really seen through the first couple of games. Just how much of that was things that were specific to this matchup? How many of them also were maybe things that you didn't have to show in the first two games? Did you feel like there was some things you guys were holding back defensively?
There's a lot that you just said would be accurate. So a number of different personnel matchups on what they were giving us. Was it 10 personnel? Was it 11? Was it 12? Was it 20? What was it? Different pitchers for the quarterback to see. Guys that we felt like gave us the best chance to play winning football. So every single week we're building the game plan of the week. All those things are something that we've worked on since we've been here in January. And we're in a really thick playbook of what we can do on both sides of the ball. We've got a lot in, and we've got a lot yet that we can come to, because I think you've got to be adaptable. You've got to be able to adjust from week to week to try to get the matchups the way you want. And I thought schematically, plan-wise, we had a good plan going into the game.
Barry, you talk about the turnovers. The first one comes with you having a chance to take the lead. You're down at the 3-yard line, trailing 3-0. How much of a backbreaker is that? Where you talk about the momentum, that felt like a moment to get everybody kind of juiced early.
I think always turnovers, especially when you're down in the tight red zone, and you come away with 0 points, instead of either 3 or 7, or we turned over twice down there, so. Really, we probably left 14 points out there, 7 or 10 or whatever it is. So that's tough. But the margin of error is so slim and so thin. Once you get down in the red zone, we have to come away with points. Field goals, that's okay sometimes. We just got to end up in a kick somehow, either a field goal or an extra point. We didn't get that done tonight.
And I guess overall, just kind of assess Ryan. He threw for a lot of yards. Made some nice throws, but obviously there's at least 2 that he would like to have back.
Yeah, I think you look, and the quarterback always gets, too much praise and too much criticism. Ryan I think he's a tremendous talent, and I think he made some throws tonight that were big-time throws. I think there will be some, just like he did the first 2 weeks, we look at it and we learn from it, and he's harder on himself than anybody possibly could be. So we'll build him up. We'll come back, and the 10 guys around him plus everybody else, we got to play cleaner ball.
Jed Wilkinson, Hammer and Rails. You guys had some creative play calling this week, notably with the tight end middle screen and the double pass. Kind of give an assessment where you think the offense is right now following tonight's game.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of playmakers. We're continuing to find ways and create ways to get them the ball. And again, I think we're really just, we're starting to find some identity of guys that will continue to make plays and routes they can run and concepts that we feel really good about. I think we've got to be aggressive on offense in some cases, like we were tonight, with deceptive plays. If it presents the opportunity to call those, I don't know how 18 read it, their defense or their linebacker, but he did a great job reading it tonight and held back. And luckily, Ryan made a heads-up play. The ball was a backwards pass and ended up scooping it up and continued the play. So there's a lot of things that I think we can do, and it again every single week, and you kind of take things from the playbook on what you think gives your team an advantage. And we've got playmakers. It's creative ways to get them the ball out in space is always what we're searching for.
I know you trailed most of the game, which is going to impact your ability to run the football. But can you just talk about the ground game in particular and not get much traction there?
Yeah, if we can take away the sacks, I thought there was some effectiveness in running the ball. And, again, that's got to be a huge point of emphasis for us that we find some way to grind out some rush yards. And this takes things off the throw game, opens it up a little bit more. I thought there were times that we were good at the point of attack, and then I thought there were times that they suffocated the ball and kind of took the air out of it in how they were playing. So, without really looking at the film, I probably should leave the comment at that.
You mentioned momentum when you started, and I'm curious to go back to that first red zone interception. You drive all the way down, and then you guys make the switch to bring in Malachi there. Is interrupting that momentum any consideration there, and was that just always part of the game script that you were going to use that package?
Yeah, we had a number of things that different personnel groupings that we wanted to try to do tonight, involving Malachi and involving the tight ends in different ways. So that was part of our red zone plan going into this week. And, if I had to do it again, we'd call it like we did.